All right, let's get started. I'll bring the mic closer in. Make sure I don't have any crumbs in the pit. All right, how are you guys? Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. Let's just jump straight into it. So, here we are with NearBeach. We're getting up the routers and stuff like that. Sorry, the routes for each of these. I realized that I forgot one thing. We've just got to edit the permissions very, very quickly. And then once that is done and tested, I think the rest falls into place pretty quickly. So what we're going to do is permissions, and then we're going to do other stuff like unit tests. And then, yeah, everything, once those have fallen into place, everything sort of falls into place pretty quickly. Implementing the API for stuff like tasks will be very, very simple because we've now got a base of how we're doing it, a sort of template of how we're doing it. We can quickly just be like, all right, this is how we're doing it. We'll just do that. The only difficult component would be doing the requirement items and the Kanban cards, and that's just because they're actually child objects and they're not parent objects. So, yep. Otherwise, yeah, it should be pretty easy. So I still want to put the permissions onto customer list. So what I want to do quickly under API available data customer list, we've got to implement the permissions. If we have permissions already. We already have this, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this implementation. We've got check user generic permissions. What we want and then I'm just going to include it very quickly. Oh, yep, that's fine. Yeah, we've got the version 0 in there. That will give us the ability to be like, all right, cool, version 1 and so forth like that when we version stuff up. And RW Grim for the raid, welcome, welcome. How was your stream? I sadly couldn't catch it today. I was in a very long meeting. Absolutely long meeting, but I know I was lurking you, and now I'm lurking myself, so I might lurk someone else. All right, there, okay. All right. Yeah, how's everyone going? I'm Robotic Head. I'm building an open source project management system called NearBeach. I have not set the run up. Let me just boot it up. Going good. Got a bunch done trying to get the release ready. Ooh, and not die from burnout. Fair enough. Fair enough. And that's very easy to do towards a release, because you're like, there's the finished goal line, and you burn all that energy just to cross it, and then you're just like, oh, I'm done. I know that feeling. So, yeah, so I'm building an open source project management system called NearBeach. At the moment, I have broken something. Clearly, give me 2 seconds whilst I fix what I was doing. And yeah, so inside NearBeach, you can gather organization customer details. You can create your own Kanban boards. You can gather user requirements and break them down to requirement items. From there, you can create projects and tasks. And when you're ready, you can use requests for changes. So yeah, just moved a bunch of tickets to the next release too. Nice, nice. Today, we're actually working on the API for NearBeach. So if we go API version 0, let's say project, it'll actually list a bunch of projects and stuff like that. So yeah, getting pretty exciting. Well, I'm getting pretty excited with this. So the idea of this is eventually what we've got in place will be deprecated and will be using the API. So yeah, this was a feature request from a user. And yeah, we're hoping, now we still do have a week and a bit And the ad break just started. I'm so sorry. Hopefully some of you can still see me. But yeah, we're hoping to get this at least done and completely finished by next month. We won't have the front end connected to the API just yet. That will actually happen when we do the 0.32 release. And for those wondering what's happening, I've got it all on the whiteboard. Oh, nearly knocked over my stool. So yeah, for this current 0.31 branch, we want to do the API, we want to implement the story points, basic story points, we want to implement the GRTP wizard and 2FA. And then we will start working on the 0.32 release, which is more, think of it as more of a bug fix and code cleanup sort of fix and tests. So yeah. You gotta run. Have a great. Yep, thank you very much, RW Grim. And yeah, welcome everyone. So I do apologize if a lot of you have ads. So yeah. Okay, I did just start. So we've got to do implement. All right, I'll wait till you guys are back, and then we'll start coding. So yeah, otherwise in the meantime I can mess up this. I will probably fiddle with it whilst I'm thinking about stuff, but we all know I like to fidget. And welcome back everyone. Alright, let me put back on the workstation. Oh, don't say Nightbot just won. Alright, cool, Nightbot didn't just win. Nightbot likes to cheat. Now, we've got the minimum permission level. This should be, because we're listing stuff, I think a 1. Yeah, they just got to have read-only. And that's it for the permissions. The permissions are really, really simple. Essentially, months ago, I refactored all the permissions and stuff like that, and we created decorators, and we just applied them everywhere and stuff like that. So when we do the same thing for the API, we'll literally be copying what we did for the old method, however, just slightly tweaking it for the API, which is going to be great. Mainly because yeah, it's the same base. It's the same tested sort of thing. The only thing we're actually really ripping out is we're ripping out certain things out of the args and quags. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, we'll need the destination location ID if that's in there. So destination, yeah. Oh, there we go. So if instead of having project, I might have something else in there. All right, cool. So I'm happy with the permissions. I am just going to close everything. It'll be a lot easier. I'm just going to minimize everything. I'm going to, just because this is the start of my stream, I haven't figured out what exactly I'm going to be doing. I kind of know what I want to do. It's the API. I just don't know what the next thing is. All right, so the next thing is available data, the sprint list. Ooh, all right, cool. So if I go over here, let's just go project information. Oops. 1. We'll open up this. We'll just hit reload and we'll just go object data because that's where we kept all our data. We had sprint list. And this is a simple response. And the other reason why we're doing all this too is we're cleaning up sort of bad code I've done. This is good code. This is actually sending it as a particular, in a particular shape. But there are some cases where I haven't always done that. Yeah, for example, this one. So the customer list we've got it in the Django shape and it just pulls across too much data. A lot of data we don't actually require. So, yeah. So with the sprint list, what we're pulling through is the sprint ID, the sprint name, the sprint start date, and the sprint end date. And if we actually go down here and we click on here, this would be this data here. So this is the potential sprints we could actually connect to this object. So, yeah. All right, so what we want to do, we want to undo that. We want to go into our views, we want to go into our API, we want to go into our available data, and we've got the sprint list API. We've also got the customer list API. I'm just going to put that off to the side because we are going to essentially do the same stuff for it. So from REST framework, import the view sets and the status, because we'll be using the view sets to set everything up and the status to essentially respond with the status. Then from REST framework.generics, we want to get object or 404. And then from REST framework.response, import the response that we want to send back. Now, NearBeach stuff we won't worry at the moment. We'll import it as we go along. The object dictionary we don't need. What we need is we need a class, and this will be called sprint list view set. And it'll be a simple view set dot view set. Easy done. And then what we want to do is we want to, all right. I need to reference the original data. So this is object data sprint list. So it just needs login required. We don't actually have any permissions around this. Okay. Then again, this is a search functionality. This is just getting data. It should be fine to do it this way. If we limit the sprints. So, yeah, I'm going to say that should be fine. So in here, what we do is we'll essentially be copying all this code. This particular function will be deprecated in the near future. We'll actually be deleting it completely, just because we'll be moving everything to the API. Yeah. So we can actually copy this. We can copy that. And then we just need to worry about the shape. Or how it's been serialized and stuff like that. And Skyfox Coda, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for the follow. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So what we're going to do is I am just going to copy this. I'm going to cheat because a lot of this code will be the same. What we're going to do is to do check to see if we need to implement permissions. I doubt it. Def list self request args and quargs. Easy done. We just paste in what we've got. We'll go through this in a second. So up here, I need to go from NearBeach.models, import, and I'm just doing this like that just because I feel like I'm going to import quite a lot of data in here. So we need sprint. We need object assignment. And, oh, we'll need some queues. So that would be from Django dot and Peter Parker 55. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. I also hope you are enjoying my content. Now, I think this is part of DB models import Q. Yes, all right, I remembered. Usually I suck at remembering those. All right, we need also user group. And this, yeah, we know it's going to duplicate. Once again, when we deprecate the other code, we'll be deleting it completely. It will no longer be duplicated. In this particular case, I'm not going to put this in an external function or anything like that, mainly because we are going to delete the other duplicate code in the near future. However, if we were to, let's say, use this piece of code over and over and over and over and over again, then yeah, I would definitely put it in its own function. But in this sort of case, we're deprecating that code. It's just easier in both the short and long term to just keep the duplicates in there. So we're not going to worry about the duplication. So we want to get the object assignment results. So this figures out which projects and requirements the user is connected to. And then from there, we can figure out which sprints they're connected to. So that's the next line down here. Now, we won't need values, but I am going to keep them in here, referenced in here, because we'll be creating a, all right. We'll be creating a serializer, and we'll be serializing it. So we won't send it back like this. This is not what we're sending back. Yeah, we'll create a serializer. We'll shove the data into a serializer, and we will send back that data. So opening up this, we want to open up our serializers. We've got available data. We're going to be creating, I'm just going to copy and paste this will be the sprint list serializer. Now the reason why we copied it is because we just need to change all of this, and it's gonna it's just easy. So yeah, we just do that. We delete all of that. We go up to here. We go, this is taking from the sprint. We go back onto here. Now this what I cut out. I'm just gonna yank those 4 lines. We're gonna go back into here. We're gonna go to number 8. We're just gonna paste them in. We're just undoing it like that. In fact, that should be like that. And that's the sprint list serializer. So pretty quick and easy, right? If we go into here, we're excluding the finished, and then we just need to serialize. So we'll just go serializer equals sprint list serializer. We'll need to import it. We're going to put in the sprint results. I might go data. Oh no, we just need to go sprint results. Many equals true. And then what I've got to do is return response serializer.data. We can delete the rest. Oops, I was meant to do a lowercase o then. We just need to import this one. I'm just cheating. I'm just clicking on the mouse. That will put that up there. Perfect. I'm leaving the to-do in. And yeah, so we don't need to worry about this one. I don't know why we've got it in the other one. Because yeah, we're searching for an object and then getting the customer details from that. We don't need it in here. We don't need the status actually. That's perfectly fine because by default it would be 200. We don't need to be very verbose about it. Or verbose, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know. So that's the sprint functionality. So we are only getting a list in this sort of case when there's no other CRUD for this. So there's no create for it because we're just getting a list of data. Yeah, available list of objects that the user can then connect to this particular project. And how we're actually handling the CRUD is actually done in another sprint list where essentially it's like, all right, these are all the sprints connected to this particular object. Here's all the CRUD for that. So yeah, pretty simple. Yeah, I'll just leave the to-do in there. I have a feeling I'm going to check the object again. Yeah, we just got a request. It just sends back just what the user can have access to. All right, cool, and that's working. And I think that's the same with no, because that needs to be connected to an object. All right, whereas this doesn't need an object associated to it to actually get the data. All right, yep, cool. So that should all be working now. So if we go localhost, API version 0, available data, and then we go sprint list. There we go. Those are all the sprints we can currently connect to any object. So yeah. All right. That one was super quick and super easy. The tag list will be just as quick and easy. So this is just getting a list of all the tags that the user has access to. Yeah, let's add it in. So with the tag list, what we want is from REST framework import. We don't want statuses. What did we want again? Response? No, that's not in here. Sorry. View sets. And then from REST framework dot response, we want to import response. And then from NearBeach.modals, we want to import tag. At the moment, it's just going to be tag. We will also import the sprint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this once again. We are just going to paste it in. We are going to call it tag list serializer. Easy done. I'm going to quickly edit this one. So in here, I want to have a look at the tag list, which is this particular one. We don't have any tags in the system at the moment, so I am going to quickly make some tags. Oh yeah, broken stuff. Ignore the fact I broken stuff. I break stuff all the time. All right. Oh, all right. Default tag. New feature. Bug. Okay. Ooh. I'll tag list all. I'm clicking on the wrong one. Very sorry. So we just have value and label. Okay. I guess that's fine. I think we're keying that data directly into something. Yeah. Sorry, getting distracted by the cube. So, I'm actually having a think in this at the moment, being like, all right, cool, we've got value and we've got label, and the reasons probably why it's that is because we've got a component called nSelect, and it needs a value and a label in there. And I think that's why it's like that, whereas the other bits of data, I'm actually got fields named and I'm reading them out. And I don't think this is used anywhere else. So I'm going to keep it. Give me a couple of seconds. So we're using naive UI for some of the components. So we've got to select and stuff like that. Okay, so we can actually change it. So with the API, I'm going to make it so it spits out data that we understand. All right, let's do that. So with the tag list, let's do the serializer first. Let's open up this. Let's boom this out here. Let's go tag. Easy done. We're going to go down here. We're just going to go tag. We just get rid of these. And it'll be tag ID, and it should be tag name. If memory serves me correctly, I'm going to double check that right this second. So we're going to go to localhost. We're going to go admin. We're going to go tag. We're going to go tags itself. We're just opening up one of these tags, and it is tag name. We can potentially get the other fields, and I'm leaning on yes. If this is an API, we do want those other particular fields, because then I can potentially use that data elsewhere. So we want tag color and tag text color. All right, easy done. So yeah, I do want that data coming through. So serializer's all done. That was pretty easy. No one's breaking a sweat with that particular thing. And then we go from NearBeach.views. It'll be serializers dot available data dot tag list serializer, import the tag. Need to name this correctly. There we go. Easy done. So from here, we want a class tag list view set, and we got a view set dot view set. Easy done. And then we want to, we don't need to worry about permission, so we want to do def list. It'll be self request args and quargs. Easy done. And once again, it's pretty much copying and pasting the code we just did before. So going back here, we've got object data tag list all. And it'll be good when I move everything to the API, because then I can clean out that one folder, which will be nice to do. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted with the cube again. There we go, lovely and done. So, we're literally just getting all the tag results. All right, easy. So tag results equals tag.objects.filter. We want to filter out anything that is deleted. That's it. Hate when that happens. I'm just closing what I don't need at the moment. Oops, wrong one. All right, we won't need the annotation. We won't need any of that. Yeah, it's just really, really simple. And then what we got is serializer equals the tag list serializer. We've got the tag results, and then we've got many equals true. and then we return response. That, and sorry, and that's it. That's pretty much it. So, very simple, very quick and easy. It will only accept gets. So if we go tag list, we got to do that. These other ones will be more complicated because we'll be implementing CRUD in them. But as you see, we've got a good amount of this. Once this is done, so I'm just thinking, once this is done, we'll probably do a release just to get people to test it. It'll only work for projects at the moment, but we'll iron everything out for the projects and then we'll implement it for the other things. We'll have to focus on any child objects last. So that's the change tasks, requirement items, and Kanban cards. So yeah. Cool, let's hit refresh. Let's see what went wrong. Type of list serializer, hang on. Something broke. I've broken something, of course, as I always do. Object filter, that serializer tag serializer. I'm just going to put a little breakpoint there. I'm going to hit refresh. We've hit this. All right, so serializers.data. Yeah, there it is, serialize.data. All right, I'm just gonna hit play. It's gonna fail. We know it's gonna fail. We're just waiting a couple of seconds before we hit reload. I realize I got the breakpoint in there still, and then I've got to play it, and there's our data. So we got our 3 tags in there, and we've got the data coming through too. So when we do connect this up to that API endpoint with the endSelect, what we've got to do is we've got to be like, all right, cool, the label field is this. Instead of being label, it's going to be what we have it. And then the value ID. We'll have to figure that one out. So, yeah. Worst case scenario, I can send back the ID. So yeah, no problem. Alright. So, we've done that one, we've done that one. Let's move on to the more harder ones. I'm just going to close all tabs. I'm going to minimize the screen, and I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up NearBeach, and I'm going to open up the URLs again. So now we want to implement groups and users. So this is going to replace the front-end sort of calling points that deals with this. This is a big major one. And yeah, we're just going to figure out. It's probably going to be the hardest one to sort of implement. There will be also a lot of documentation around this too. I've got to implement the documentation. But yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just playing with the cube again. Because yeah, I don't know how they get the documentation all written out and stuff like that. However, it's been recommended what tools we should use, so we're going to be using those recommendations. Yeah, so... Oh, we've hit another ad break. So those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch so that people who join the stream don't get ads straight away. They're called pre-rolled ads. You guys don't get ads, so you guys get to see me during this time. And there are people who are on Twitch who don't get ads for numerous number of reasons, whether they live in a particular country, whether they have Turbo, or if they subscribe to the channel. So yeah, we really just play with the Rubik's Cube. Yeah. I should do stuff like do 30 seconds, like a minute of Japanese or something like that, you know. I was doing that at one point, and I should really set that up and do that again. Just do one of the easier sort of levels and stuff like that. Something I can do in a minute. Anyway, how is everyone going? Hopefully everyone's going well. We are smashing through this API. So yeah, once again, we get the permissions. Sorry, we'll do the rest and make sure we put in the permissions. We then got to also do the documentation too. So I want to smooth everything out for the projects. And yeah, I think the projects we can get this done definitely either tonight's stream or the next stream, which is on Monday. Oh, and welcome back everyone. Sorry, I'm just ranting, I'm just going on. I'm just blabbing on like there's no tomorrow. Alright, cool. So let's start this one. We're going to open up this. This doesn't exist yet, but that's perfectly fine. We'll actually create this right this second. So we'll go into our NearBeach, our views, our API, our object data, because this is part of the object data. And this is group and user API. And now I did want to put this in alphabetical order. It is. Cool. Easy done. Groups and users. So what we want from here, from REST framework, import. Now, what was it? It was VueSet and statuses, because we definitely be using statuses here because there will be cases where we're rejecting stuff. And then what we want from REST framework dot response, we want to import the response. Now this is groups and users, so from NearBeach.models import, we're going to go group, we're going to go user, and I think we're going to be using user group. Not 100% sure, but we'll figure this out as we go along. Remember, a lot of the code we've already written, we're just copying what we're doing and making sure we structure it correctly. So yeah, and remember, we'll be deprecating quite a lot of the code. So yeah, a lot of great fun. We won't be deprecating it tonight. We'll be deprecating it when we go to 0.32. Which will be a major change. And I think it'll be cool. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this. I think this will make everything a little bit better moving forward. So yeah. Alright, and then what I want to do is I want to have a class, the lowercase c, and blunder juicer. Yo, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Group and user view set, and we got view set.viewSet, and to do permissions, because this one will definitely have permissions. This will also have the CRUD, so to do CRUD. So for those that don't know, create, read, update, delete. We'll also have a list one in there too. Cradle. Alright, it's a new name. We're sticking with it. Late night coding 2. Is this on Flask? This is on Django. So yeah, close. Very, very close. I haven't used Flask, but I got a friend who has used Flask, and I respect his opinion. He loved Flask, so yeah. Nothing. I won't have anything against Flask. I just haven't used it. That's all. I tend to use a new project, like a new framework and language, every new project and stuff like that. I just haven't had a new project for Flask. I don't use Flask, I use Django, love it. Yep. So we're using the Django REST framework for creating the API. I kind of like it. In the last half an hour, I've created a couple of API endpoints just for listing data, not doing any of the CRUD stuff. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted with the cube. I always get distracted by the cube. I should put that down. All right, how's the time? I have a friend coming soon who's picking up some watermelon and dropping off berries. So heads up, I might disappear for a second. I don't know how far away they are. They haven't texted me yet. So I'm going to open up the project API. I'm just having it as a reference over there, and I'm just double confirming all of the function calls. So we've got create, we've got self, request, args, and quargs, and then I'm going to return response data equals just something simple. It's silly, but it'll work. So we've got the create. We'll have to destroy. Give me a couple of seconds. We'll have the list. We'll just return response. We'll have the retrieve. Ooh. We won't have the retrieve. Now, the reason being is we'll be getting a list, but we won't need one bit of data, we need all of it. So we won't actually be having the retrieve, nor will we be having the update, because once again, we're talking about these particular connections here, the admin user. There's nothing for us to update there. If we were to remove it, we'll be deleting it. And thank you very much for the follow, Blunder Juicer. So yeah, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So we won't need update. We'll just need to create. So for example, a create connection would be us actually adding in another user. That will be a create. Adding in a group, that will also be a create. And we'll be like, sweet, all right, cool. We're creating something. We'll be listing stuff. So this is listing stuff. If we refresh the page, we go object data, we'll have the groups and users. There's our list. And that will be perfectly fine. And we'll have to send back all the data. So that will be the list. And then destroy, if I click on one of these things, let's say this one, and go, yes, that's our destroy call. And then, yeah, we send back all of the lists and stuff like that. All right. Now, if you have a look on the left, I'm going to be keeping that same structure. I like that structure. What it is we've got a group list up here. So that's a simple group list, easy done. And then we've got the object list like this. And then so forth and so forth and so forth. So I don't know if the serializer will work for us in this sort of case. Because I mean, it might. But I feel like we're going to be getting this data anyway. We've already got a function that actually sets this data up for us. And we could potentially just reference that and just be like, done. The idea here is why we need to fetch all of this data and get it back is if I have, let's say add on the QA team, that actually updates this particular list and it actually adds in the QA team. So if I add in these QA members, they're added in. They're not part of the administration. And if I go, oh, oops, I've accidentally added these guys in and remove the QA team, we need to remove those other ones. So the easiest way to do that without having so much of the user permissions and all that kind of stuff on the front end, it's just to get the back end to just resend that data through and be like, all right, cool, I've done that for you. Here is what it should be like now. And have it like that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with the cube again. It constantly happens like this. This is secretly a Rubik's Cube stream at heart. All right, so that's why we're doing that. And once again, we can just nick what we've already got, and I have a feeling we've actually got a something that we can utilize. Talking through your thoughts is really great content you like to follow. Thank you. You guys are my rubber ducks. So, getting this all set up, let's deal with, I want to deal with the list first because it'll be a lot easier to do. So I want to click on groups and users. I'm just clicking on that. I'm just going to do this. We want this URL. I'm going to close the API on that side. I am just going to click on this and I'm going to go to this implementation. And that's what we're doing. We're just returning the JSON. So it does all the work for us, which is really, really good. However, we need to pull out the destination and the location ID. That won't be long. That won't take forever. And we just need the generic permissions, which will be the API permissions and so forth like that. Once again, that won't take too long to implement. So in here, what we want to do straight off the bat is go at check user API permissions. We've got to add this in. I'm just cheating. I'm just going to do it like that with the decorator. We want the minimum permission level is a 1. Yeah, it is a 1. We need to use a particular serializer. Alright, give me 2 seconds. Sorry, I've got a friend coming over. I'm giving them a watermelon. They're giving me some berries. I'm just finding out what time they will arrive. Alright, cool. Alright, so in our project API we actually do this. So if we go up to our, no, it's not in this one. Sorry. It's now available data. We actually do this. And we're going to use the exact same methodology that we do here in that. So we pass through a destination serializer, okay, with the data request data. So we're telling the user, hey, you actually need the destination and the location ID in the API call, because we need to know where we're pulling this data from. So yeah, easy done. So making sure I've got my light turned on also. Nope. I'll turn that on in a second. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Alright, give me 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm just going to turn on the light. Alright, I did turn on the light. I just can't see it. All right, so the good news is let's yank 12 lines of code here. We can yank 12 lines of code and we can just get disappointed. All right. There we go. Destination serialization. We'll just click on that. We'll just, you know, do that. Easy done. We did import that. Anyway, so what this is doing is we're making sure that in the request we've got the destination location ID. We then feed it in through here. We're all happy with this object data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think we just need that. We just need to import this once again. I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to do it like that and easy done. That should be it. Because we know this function will work perfectly fine. I do believe it sends it back as JSON right at the moment. We'll test that in a minute. All right, let's get Postman open. I'm going to put Postman over here. Sorry, I've got to set up my screen. It would be awesome if I knew how to set this up so it automatically lays out everything perfectly every single time I log in. That would be cool. All right, so we've got object data. That's available data. All right, let me just available data. All right. So this would be group and user. Group and user. And we're going to deal with the team leader permissions. And we're adding in a request. It will be simple get. I'm just seeing how I've done this in the past. Oh yeah. This will be list groups. Oh, I'm just also thinking I need to distinguish. Actually, no, the list is grabbing everything. I don't need to distinguish if we're updating a group or anything like that. All right. So list groups and users. Cool, so going with this, it should literally be object data, this. All right, cool. I'm just gonna go over to our API, object data, group and user. Cannot resolve keyword, object data, choices are, yada, 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 blah, blah. All right, cool. We'll fix that up in a moment. Sorry. Okay. Let's put that on there. Let's hit refresh. I think that has to do something with that, so I'm just going to comment that out for the moment. I'm just going to hit refresh. We've hit that. All right, cool. So yeah, the permissions we'll need to have a look at and be like, all right, we need to fix up these permissions. Because the last thing I want to actually do is leave open these permissions. People will be like, ah, cool, I don't have access to this project, but let's find out what team members do and so forth like that. Definitely a big no-no. So, destination, location ID, those fields are required. So we want to go over here. I am just going to go over here and click on headers. We need to copy this particular thing. We're going to go back over here, click on headers. We want to go authorization token, key that in. We then want to copy this. We then want to paste this in. We then want to go into our body. We've got form data. We've got destination. We're going to have project. We've got location ID. And we're going to have to go to because project 1, the team leader doesn't have access to. We'll actually set one up where we're actually hitting project 1 and making sure we're getting our 403. So, going with this, we have data coming through, and it's perfect. It just worked. Famous last words, Todd Howard. Alright, so I am going to have a look at this. Check user generic permissions. This and this. Alright. So, what I want to do is I want to hurt my toe by slamming my stool onto it. I'm terribly sorry. That hurt for some strange reason. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to go to this implementation and we're just going to put a little breakpoint there. All right. I know what exactly is happening. So we're trying to get the destination. All right. We won't be sending the destination every single time to try and get the... Oh, we will be actually. Alright, I'm just having a think here. At the moment, what this is trying to do is get the destination. And then check the user's destination and stuff like that. We can get it from the URL, but in this sort of case, we won't be. Yeah, we won't be. So, let's have a look here. I'm just going to hit refresh. We're going to hit the permissions first. So in here, we won't have data. And this one fails anyway because, yeah, we don't have any of that data. It's, yeah, object data, blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, the joys of the permissions. This is where we've got to start thinking again. And being like, alright, cool, how are we going to fix this? So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to send it from over here. We are hitting here again. So what this URL does is it's assuming the destination will be located somewhere in the URL. Now for everything that isn't object data and available data, that is true. We will have the destination in there. So for example, we'll have projects in there. However, this isn't doing that. And it might be one of those sort of cases that we just have the rule that form data will always have to contain the destination location ID. At minimum destination. And location ID can be 0, and if we zero it out, yeah. So, And we can have check user API data. Yeah, we might need to create. Thing is, we've got a lot of decorators already that deal with just the permission. What I can do is I can create a API permission for object data easily. So API object data permissions, deal it with like that, because yeah, we definitely can then state that we're passing through the destination location ID. Available data we're not so worried about. However, if we need to check the permissions of that, we can easily feed it through onto that. That will be easy to do. That way we're not overly complicating this bit of data here. Now, that's assuming that I have access to, yes I do. So in the post, we'll have the destination and the location ID. I can get that data. However, I've got to make sure that data is cleaned correctly. And that's a query dictionary. But at the same time, it means I can pass that dictionary data into the quags and args, and that can get forced down, and that way I'm not serializing the data twice, but it's such a small data set that it doesn't matter if we serialize it twice. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning on creating something separate, keeping this for the API calls. Checks the user permissions, it'll gather both the location. Yeah, it'll do that from the URL and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. Bit of a yawn. I think I'm going to have to. So I'm just going to copy this. And we are going to paste. I'm going to go cancel because I'm copying the wrong thing. What we want to do is under the view, decorators, check user permissions. This particular one we want to copy, and then we want to paste. And we want to do something like that. And then what we want to do is from NearBeach.serializers.destination serializer import destination serializer. So we want this data. So going in here, we won't need this, we won't need this, we won't, and we're on another ad break. All right, cool. My friend should be here shortly. I'm just going to close the blind. Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, just a few changes that we need to do. Once again, a lot of these permissions, when we move to the API, I don't know how many of them will become deprecated because the API will override their special sort of permission cases and all that kind of fun stuff. It might end up that we just shrink a lot of this, a lot of the decorators. Sorry, not shrink, I mean deprecate a lot of them and remove them from the code base. Hopefully. This does mean that what I'll do is I'll force most calls that have permission to have a destination location, even if we're not going to be using that data. Because it'll be good to be like, all right, cool, does this person? Thinking if they're not using the data. No, it's object data. They'll definitely be using that data. They need that data to get to the object data. It's the available lists which don't need permissions. You just need to be logged in. Because you have, it's the same data no matter what the object is. But object data relies on the object. And thank you very much, Foss Unleashed. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome. As I ran, oh, everyone's back. I've been ranting for, I didn't realize that minute and a half went so quickly. That there's a massive rewrite underway. Is the API stable or even in place? Not quite yet. So the idea is, I think I'll draw this out very quickly. The idea is NearBeach is made up of a bunch of different objects like projects, tasks, and so forth like that. So at the moment, what we'll do is we'll focus just on project. We will get the API sorted, the permissions sorted. We'll get the documentation sorted. And then what we'll do is we'll get feedback. Once the feedback has been implemented, we'll start implementing this for tasks, Kanban, and so forth like that. So the other objects. Yeah. But the idea is this API will replace what we've got in the system at the moment. We originally didn't think that there will be an API in NearBeach or anything like that, so we wrote out object data endpoints. And hey, someone requested it, so yeah. But hey, it's new features, so yeah. And then when we go to the 032 branch, we'll put everything onto the API and deprecate all the old code and stuff like that. So yeah. All right. So in here, what we want to do is we want to essentially not worry about any of those. What we want to do is we want serializer equals destination serializer. We'll have request.data. Yeah. We do have... There we go. We do have socials and all that kind of stuff. I also got a Blue Sky. It's pretty much the same as everywhere else. It's just robotic head. So, yeah. Feel free to ask any questions. We're constantly trying to improve it. So yeah, we're happy for feedback. If serializer dot, actually, if not serializer is valid, we want to return, so if it, permission denied, or permission error. Kind of different from permission denied. Kind of flags that, yeah, we've got an issue. Now, what could happen is they might be typing in projects instead of project, in which case, yeah, we want to be like, nah, this is an error. Something's gone wrong here, buddy. So, and it's not return, it's raise. Actually, Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'll figure it out later. So we want destination equals serializer.data, and then we want destination. And we want location ID. Ooh, if location ID exists. This is for object data, so it'll definitely exist. Worst case scenario, what we can do as a user is set the location ID to 0 and be like, all right, cool, this is what we want to do. Then we don't need any of this data here. Oh, yeah, we're using... Yeah, we're doing that, aren't we? Not ideal, but once again, we can come back to this once we implemented the API and deprecated a lot of the code to be like, all right, cool, let's rewrite this little tiny section properly. Let's make sure we pass these values through if they exist. So, yeah. Because location ID might not be required. Location ID is not required for every single check. So if you do a new project, it's not required there. So we're actually trying to fit the API permissions into the front-end permissions. So there's a little bit of, you know, we've got to move the couch a little. And yeah, that should be fine. So if we go back to the API, we then... This will be called this now. So we just need to copy this. We just go over here. We're just going to paste it onto that. We're going to go up to here and we're just going to paste it over on that. We're going to realize that we screwed up somewhere. Oh, yeah, and that's fine. And then that will be like that. And then... min permission level. We do need that coming through. Okay, cool. So I'm going to click on this. Realize that we've got a bug. I'm going to hit refresh. Stop and restart. Alright. Just going to get rid of that. From NearBeach dot decorators dot check user permission dot API object data permission import oh yeah. Yeah, let's API object data API permissions. Doesn't make much sense. Oh, whoops. So API object data permissions. There we go. And down here it'll be API object permissions. We're going to restart this, stop and rerun. All right. Okay. That's working. We're going to hit send. We're going to have a preview of that. We've got groups and user view set has no attribute data. All right, not a problem. All right. Give me about 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I've got a friend here who's picking up watermelons and dropping off stuff for me. What I will do is actually, that's not the add time text. I will have. That's that's on that page. Where's text? Text. All right, cool. I'll be right back. Yep, I will be right back. So I do apologize. I won't be long. Sorry about that, everyone. When NearBeach is successful, I hope you won't get a private jet like the Australian billionaires yet. Don't you worry. I don't think I'll ever get that rich. So, yeah. Alright, sorry about that. We were just swapping over fruit and veg and stuff like that. So, yeah, when you garden, you tend to swap stuff with other people. There's the meme, what is it? Okay, it's probably not there. Yeah, no, that one I can understand. So, yeah. Alright, getting back into this. Ooh, we'll do that later. I've always, there's been times where I've updated on stream and it's crashed everything, so we won't do that. We're doing the API permission. We're happy with that. Everything's working apart from the fact that we've got this. Groups user object has no attribute data. What I'm going to do is I'm going to comment that out for a second. And hey, Nocturnal, how are you? Hopefully you're going well. Alright, so it has something to do with the permissions. We are going to... actually reopen up that one to make sure I haven't done anything silly in here. Check user API permissions. API permissions. Alright. I might rename a couple of these later on. Get its consistency done. So I'm going to put something there. Gonna go over here. We're gonna test this. We're gonna jump for, oh. Okay, I've definitely screwed up. Yeah, I don't know how I don't even think that will work. Yeah, that didn't work. That's fine. Oh, you nearly got to 200. Holy, all right, you passed me. I doubt I'll be able to deadlift properly. Definitely not at the moment. Not with my shoulder. It wouldn't have been legal in comp, but it was very, very close. My grip gave out. Oh, but still, 200 is a lot to get off the ground. Wow, congratulations. That is awesome. How am I doing? I am glad it is Friday. Did 190 clean though? Yep, that's past me. Mine was, I think, 180. Something like that. So, yeah. That is impressive. So, yeah. Alright, getting back into this. We need to find a way of getting data out. So I'm just going to do this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go destination equals request dot data destination. I'm not sure this will work. Location ID. We will probably iterate on this very, very quickly. I normally do sumo, but yesterday was conventional. Okay, fair enough. But I remember when I did like the 180, I remember pulling it up and everything going black. So yeah. Has no option. Alright, I I'm probably making a mistake somewhere. I'm just doing that. When I first did 180, I had little little sparkles. Yeah, you were lifting a lot. All right. I'm sorry. I was meant to actually put the breakpoint there. All right. So we've hit this. We're now having a look at requests. So I'm just going to hover over requests. I'm going to open it up. Now it says it doesn't have data in here, which is perfectly fine. It could be easily request data. Yeah, it's just request data. So I've done a little boo-boo, not a problem. We'll undo all of this. We'll do all that. It'll be request.request.data. So I think with the permissions, just because there is some difference between the front-end requesting permissions or Django requesting permissions versus the Django API, we might separate the permissions. However, we'll only separate them to get the data we required, which we can then send back into the backend and be like, yeah. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm just doing that very quickly. So I'm just gonna destroy all of that. We're just gonna hit play. We know that's gonna fail. We know that it's gonna rebuild. I am going to thank my friend for the stuff. All right, I've just got to lock my door. I'll be right back. All right. So, I don't have the, that was silly of me. Destination equals serializer.data and then destination, easy done. And then the quags location ID. Later on, what we'll do is I definitely want to have a relook at all the permissions. I'm hoping that a lot of these permissions will be deprecated when we move to the API and probably refactor them a little bit. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Because at the moment we're sort of shoehorning in the API permissions in, and that's why we're doing it like this. So yeah. So what I want to do is I want to go over here. I want to hit send again, and it looks like it's working. Perfect. All right, cool. And then if we go up here, we type in projects, and I go send. We get you do not have permissions to perform this action, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense because there's no such thing as projects. And then if we hit project. Yep, that will work perfectly fine. All right, now it doesn't tell us that we've got our destination incorrect, which is yeah, I'm just trying to have a think. Probably not. The best solution, because I do want to raise an error instead. Permission denied doesn't make much sense in this sort of case. So I'm just going to have a look at permission error. So that's working. And then if I go in here and type projects, we'll have permission error. I mean, what if I'm just testing this out. So REST framework dot response, import response. Oh, there we go. And then from REST framework, import statuses. And then in here, and then we'll have something like that. And then we'll have the, so that will be data, and then the status will be status.http bad request. And the raise won't work. We'll have to return. I don't think this will work. Purchase. Oh, all right, cool. No, we want to keep that then. Perfect. Because if someone types in the wrong thing and we can knock it out of the park here, then everyone will be happy. But yeah, that's pretty easy to do. Sorry, I'm just playing with this. Whoop, nearly dropped the thing. Easy done. All right, cool. So, looks like permissions is working for the group this now. So we've got the API object data permission, which is its own sort of thing. It gets the data and so forth like that. Now we could feed that data into the quags and then retrieve it from here. Instead of redoing all of this. Because we will have access to the data. I'm going to say no at the moment. And the reason being is we're going to go back to the permissions and refactor it for the API once all of this is done and moved on. Ads started. Yeah. Yeah, the reason being is once we have all of this figured out, I'll have a clearer picture and I'll be able to come in and be like, all right, cool, we're going to do this. We're going to have the code like this. We're going to get the data from here and we're going to pass it through like this. And everywhere is going to behave like that. And the only way I can do that is have a very clear picture of everything. So yeah, we're going to say, no, let's not refactor it tonight. Let's refactor it when I have a clearer picture. Otherwise, there will be cases where I just keep refactoring it and it's going to be worse. So yeah, we'll keep it like that. But yeah, we've got all the group lists. That's worked perfectly fine. And the best thing is, this will work everywhere. So when we do the other CRUD, so the create and delete, we can just call this and it'll be fine. We'll still need to call the serializers and all that kind of stuff, but we'll figure that out in a moment. Sorry, my friend's going a bit. Okay. Continue. All right. Sorry, my friend sent me something. Oh, am I still in an ad? No, I'm not. All right, cool. Sorry, got distracted. For those coming back from the ads, my friend just sent me something funny. If you've ever seen any terrible films like Shark Octopus and stuff like that, well, it's now real life. We have an octopus riding a shark. I love it. I love it. Look at it. That's kind of cool. Alright, so we've got the list. Let's now do the CRUD. So pain, yes. Yes, there is pain. I do believe the permissions will be the same. So with one exception, is that people have to be able to edit. So one of these is gone, and then the to-do CRUD, that will go away now. So let's do the CRUD. Straight away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it'll be all of this. So 24 to 40. The delete will be also very, very similar to, we'll send it through the serializer, we'll get out the data, we'll delete what we're deleting, and we'll be happy. I do believe I will need the PK equals none in this particular case with the destroy, because we'll be passing through the PK. And we won't need to check the PK permissions because we're actually checking the parent. Cool. Sorry, I had to give it a good think there. Alright, so we have the serializers. We're sticking with the CRUD. We go through the permissions, making sure we can actually get the data, because we don't want to release that data willy-nilly. So we've got that. We then alright. Got the data, got the destination. I need to see how the crate's done. I'm just trying to remember what we do and stuff like that. So I'm just going to get rid of the data. I'm going to add to project. We're going to add in the QA team. So I'm going to send that data. And then what we're sending back is we've got the destination, we've got the location ID, and we've got the add group. So that will be perfectly fine. Once again, this will be a post command. So what we're posting is fine. We've already got all of that data set up. It is the group list that we're missing. So we're going to open this up to both group list and user list. And depending how we delete it to, we'll open it up to like group list and so forth like that. So it will, we're taking care of both the users and the groups in the one spot. The reason being, once again, is that these are so intertwined. It's kind of makes sense to actually have this in one single place. So yeah, we'll still be sending up the group list. Yeah, alright, cool. Alright, cool, we'll probably need another serializer in here. And that is perfectly fine. We'll probably actually call it something appropriate. I'm going to close other tabs at the moment because we don't need anything else open. We're going to open up the pane. We go to close the decorators. We're fine with the decorators. Available data are already done. Object data, so group in the... Alright, cool. Serializers. Now, this is... Alright. This will be group and user serializer.py. And we've got to do one little tiny thing. We've got to put it in the init.py files into these particular folders. We put them in. So Python's like, oh, there's stuff here. And we're like, yes, there is stuff there. And then it's like, sweet. So we've got the groups and user serializers. I've opened up the destination serializer because I'm having a quick look at this and be like, all right, cool. This is how we set it up. We're going to copy this, essentially. Except we won't need as many sort of fields. We need from REST framework, import the serializers, easy done. From NearBeach models, import, we are importing both the group and the user tables. We will need them. Is it user model? Is it now? Oh no, we'll need the user table. Yeah, because we'll connect up to the users and so forth like that, which is what we need. Then we need class, we need the group and user serializer. And that will be a serializer, and that will just be a normal serializer, easy done. And then what we've got here is we'll have group equals serializers dot choice field, and required is going to be false, because not all the times we use in that particular field. That is fine. And then we can do choices equals object. Choices will be the group dot objects dot filter is deleted equals false. So we're only focusing on the groups that are, available. Then what we've got is user equals serializers dot choice field, once again required equals false. Choices will equal the user dot objects dot filter is active equals true. So we're only doing the active users. We're not worried about any other user. And now the front end does a lot of work by making sure that users with particular groups are being sent back and we're double checking them and all that kind of stuff. We might need to do that here. We might need to do a check to be like, hey, you've just tried adding in a user that doesn't have permissions to this particular object. Or we silently ignore it and document it being like, if this isn't connecting, please make sure the user is connected via these groups, otherwise it won't connect. One or the other would work perfectly fine. So yeah. So I can't limit the serializer yet, but that's perfectly fine. What I was oh no, I'm just trying to think how I want to, if I want to notify the user. So because in the front end, we've got the groups up here, and then these users are limited to users that are connected to those groups, and then the front end, because the front end handles that, everything's fine. But because we're dealing with an API, if I send the user Bob, who's not part of these particular teams, to be connected to this particular project, should I silently fail? Or should I search for that and be like, hey, listen, Bob doesn't have permissions, and send back a 400. Turn not allowed. All right, cool. Let's do that. We've got method not allowed. 403. No, that means the user. Unauthorized. 401. Yeah. And were you reading about the octopus riding the shark? Look at it. So adorable. 401 and 405. I'm gonna lean on not 405, method not allowed. No, I'll go 401. Yeah, cool. 401. Unauthorized. Done. Yeah, because we've got 403 being forbidden. Okay. That should come up with the issue now. So we want to go groups and user API. I'm just going to go group and user. We can't. I mean, once we've got this data, we should be able to override serialize. No. Let's do this properly. Group serializer equals group and user serializer. Data equals request.data. Once again, we're just going to check it. If not, serializer.is valid. We want to return response, where serializer.errors, and the status equals status.http bad request. We do need to put this in. And then down here, what we could do is we could go group list equals serialize.data, and then we should have group. It'll be just group. And then user equals serializer.data, and that would be user. Easy done. And then all we need to do is, if those are not null, yeah, we process the data that's in there. Pretty simple stuff. Alright, so if, and this is where we go back to our front end and see what we're sending to add group, and we've got to make sure that we're doing sort of similar sort of tasks, or how we're doing it should be the same. So we go to the implementation, we get the group results out, so single group, in group list. So it'll be a group list. All right, cool. So there could be multiple, in which case we want to then name this group list. I'm not going to change that. Actually, no, I should change that because it is group list. And then I'm assuming there'll be user list. We'll double check this in a minute. Yeah. So, in here, we're closing that one. We've got the object data open, so for single groups, we're just going group instance, single group. We're grabbing the group instance. I think we will have access to the group instance. don't think it'll be a number, but we'll test this. We'll test this out. This won't be something hard to test. All right. Okay, so group instance, group object.get, and then submit, object submit, and then, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just this. We're fine with the serializer. We want this. I'm just going to paste it in. Going to do that. We need object assignment in here, so we're just going to go up here and just go object assignment, easy done. We're going to import this. That's just a simple tool. So we've got an object and we want to connect that object assignment up to the destination location ID. We just pass it through into that and then it just handles it for us. It's just a simple one-line call to us because we use that in quite a number of different places, and I think it's a couple of lines of code. So yeah. So we just got to do that, and then we've got to save, and then that just loops through. If there's none in there, it does nothing, which is going to be awesome. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go over into the administrator. I'm going to go to number 2. Going to open up groups. We're going to open up no group and empty group. So 3 and 4. We're going to try and add 3 and 4 into here. It's just the QA team at the moment. So if we go over here, I am going to object data. I'm going to duplicate this. And of course it doesn't duplicate. Oh, that's an annoying bug. Same thing happened with work. I copied someone else's whole entire thing and yeah, it just didn't do it. And I was like, ah! Now I've got to clean up my Postman for work. Authorization, headers, authorization, easy done. And then I'm just going to go over here. We're just going to hit this authorization. We're just going to copy it all. And we're just going to paste it in. With the body, we've got form data. We've got destination is going to be project. The location ID is going to be number 2. The group list now. Ooh. I've got a giant moth in here. I don't know how it's going to append. We're going to do a quick test. I'm going to add in the administration group. All right, so we've just added it in. We've got the add group in there. We've got all of this. I'm going to go and copy as curl. I'm going to go over into here. We're going to go import. We're pasting it in. We are going to import it into here. This is a temporary one, so I'm looking at the body, group list 1. Okay, so it's just like that. Okay, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete it from here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add all 3. I'm going to copy the curl. I'm going to do that all over again, and I'm going to view how it's structured in this. And the reason being is I just want to see what we're doing. So it's just, all right, cool. That's fine. So what I want to do is I want to essentially delete this. So group list, it'll be 3 and 4. Thinking about the HTTP code again, I think it's matched better with 403 than 401, as 401 is for all. Okay. Meaning I've probably got to go back to my 403 codes and change them to 401s. But that's easy. That'll be easy. Alright, where was I? I was making stuff. So group list will be 3, and then another group list will be 4, and then we've got to have this as a post, we've got to save it, and then this is not list, this is create. Oh, post. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to follow a pattern with how I'm naming things. It's going to get annoying, I understand. For one, unauthorized, similar to 4B, forbidden, but specifically for when authentication is required and has failed or has not yet been provided. The response must include www authentication header. Okay, cool. Yeah, I literally got to go back and change my 403s to 401s. That's not a problem. Oh god, I've got a lot of 403s. But yeah. 408 forbidden. The request contains valid data and was understood by the server, but the server is refusing action. This may be due to the user not having necessary permissions for resource or needing an account of some sort. Or attempting. Alright, cool. Sweet. Yeah, we can change this. No problem. Alright, where are we? Oh, incoming ad break. Sorry, I read that incorrectly, guys. I'm terribly sorry. The code is also typically used either request provided authentication by answering header field challenged, but the server did not accept that authentication. The request should not be repeated. Okay, cool. Alright, I'm going back into this code. We're removing empty group, we're removing no group, and we're using administration. So we've got just QA team. I'm just hitting refresh, we've just got QA team. We should be hitting the destination project 2 with group 3-4. I can't believe it's 2-3-4. I know, fluke. We've got the request headers in. I'm just going to go send. Group list. Okay, not a problem. We're going to figure this out. So I'm going to put a breakpoint there. We're going to hit send. We are going to have a look at this data. So this serializer, so the group serializer, I've done something silly. All right. There we go, guys. I mean, we can squeeze this all in one. No, I'm going to say no. I mean, yeah, we can. We can squeeze this all into one serializer. I don't know if I can extend the classes. This is what you like. No, all good, all good. No, it's good to actually double check all the codes and stuff like that, because we do want to sort of reference the correct codes. So, yeah. That's another thing. I don't know. All right, we're technically... We could potentially extend a class. I've just had an idea. Instead of having destination serializer, we could have group user serializer and have everything all coming out in the one class. Potentially could work. And instead of doing something like this, we could do from NearBeach.serializers destination serializer import destination serializer. We could potentially just go in here and go destination serializer. We still need serializers. Don't know if this will work. This is just me playing around very, very quickly. And then actually, I'm just going to hit play. We're going to return and rerun. I don't know if this will work. So we've got the breakpoint there. I'm just going to click send. We've got this. It's past this. It's got the destination. It's got the project. If I open this up and we open up data, we've got only 2 fields. Oh no, we got the 3 fields. And then we jump on over and no. That doesn't like that. Group list. Okay, that was... I've been doing a lot of .NET. I was hoping that would work. Because it will work still with that because there is the data in there, but I don't know why it won't work in here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that. Oh, actually, I'm going to do that again. We are going to go into ad time correctly this time. I'm terribly sorry about before. For those on YouTube, we run ads on Twitch, so no one gets ads when they join the channel and stuff like that. However, you guys don't get ads, so you guys get to see me solve a Rubik's Cube and prattle on for a minute and a half. So yeah, fun times. Welcome, welcome, by the way. I hope you guys are going well. So yeah. Okay. Quickly solving the cube. And almost done. There I go. Ta-da. I'm going to hit this send again. We've got this here. With the dict serializer. We've got the group list, and that should send back an array. I can see the data here. It's group list, group list, group list. Yep, all right, cool. We're just going to bump over that, and it's got a problem. All right. Oh, and welcome back, everyone. Sorry. There we go. So we got a problem with the group list, and I don't know, but sorry, I'm organizing tonight. another way slash. Okay, cool. All right. So we have a problem with the group list. So what am I going to do? I am going to put this back. I'm going to try and get this to a working state with two of them. All right, easy done. And then we'll go back into the serializer. We'll get rid of this. We'll do serializers dot serializer, so it's extending the class and stuff like that. So we're happy with all of that. We've got this group serializers. We've got it all the way getting down to here. It should pull out the group list with this particular thing. So we're back to this original state. So if I go send, we've got this. We've got the group serializer. I can see the group list in there. All right. Oh. This is a choice field. This is meant to be a multiple choice field. That's it. That's the issue. Now I just gotta wait. We hit this. Oh, maybe not. It just says exception value group list. It doesn't say anything else. I'm going to stop everything. I'm going to rerun it. Yeah, it's just that one serializer data down there. That's key error. All right, key error. All right, user profile, objects create, data equals validated data. Validated data doesn't have a data key in the user serializer.create. It only contains the key you define in that. All right. It's probably not what I wanted. But what do they have? User serializer is better. Oh, we're not using... Oh, I think I know why. Give me a couple of seconds. Query set equals group dot objects dot. I'm just going to put, actually no, I'll do this properly. Is deleted equals false. We're going to do that. And you are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. All right. It's always something simple, isn't it? I'm going to leave it as the promo key related field at the moment. I feel that would be a better solution anyway. Actually, no, it won't be. Because there's multiple choices. And I think I've got to do something like that. Because it could be either. And there could be multiple groups or multiple users being added at one time. All right, I am going to go back over here and I'm going to hit refresh. Just going to hit that and refresh. All right, I've blown something. Okay. Oh, and another thing I've got to do. Oh yeah, that should be fine. Yep, that should be fine. All right. There you go. Everything's running now. I'm just going to hit send. 3 is not a valid choice. Yep. All right. Cool. What I'm going to go back is... We're just playing around with this now. Okay, cool. So we've got all of that. Sorry, I'm just playing with the cube at the moment. So we've got all of that. That should be fine. I'm going to hit refresh. I'm going to come over here and be like, oh, I'm going to hit refresh. We've hit this. So this should have data. We still don't have data in there, and it should be group list. Because we haven't put group serializers in there. All right, that's my bad. And there's our data in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the more complicated thing. I'm going to, from NearBeach.serializers, import the destination serializer. The reason being is so it's all in one place. I think that's cleaner and easier to do. And then we've just got one serializer. So we've got serializers, groups and users, serializer valid, response, and then so forth like that. So then we pass through all of that. That just sent back our file. That's perfectly fine. We're going to hit this. We are going to go over here. We should see with the serializers now. If we open this up, we see destination, location, group list, and user list is nothing in there. It just says set at the moment. Which, hey, it's fine. So if we go forward over, boom, we got 3 and 4 if we go into here, we got the group instance, which we get, and then we pass through the group instance into there. We do that. We add that all in. This is going good. I'm just going to hit play. We get our data back here. And if we go to our project 2, which only has QA team in there, by the way, if we hit reload, we've now got the empty group and the no group. And we can now do this for the users. All right. Get excited, everyone. So we just need to do this for the user list. And the good thing is, if someone's clever enough, they can send both the updated users and groups and all that kind of stuff across at the same time, so it can be done in one call. Once again, the users and groups are so entwined. This is why we're doing it in the one API node instead of actually doing it in multiple. It doesn't make sense ripping them apart at all. In fact, it sounds more tedious, and it honestly will probably have a lot more work to do it if we did it like that way. Just because it's calling multiple spots, it has to wait for everything, all the data to call for the front end. No. So what we want to do is, I'm going to add user to project. I'm going to click add user. I'm just going to be like add user. All right, sweet. So we've got this particular one. We've got the add user. So I am just going to go add user. We're going to be like, all right, sweet. So we hit this URL. We're going to hit this particular method. And it's just those lines. So we scroll down here, we're like, all right, cool. It's literally just those lines. So we get the user data from the single user. So we'll be happy. We submit the object, and once again, with the submit object, we pass it the destination and all that kind of stuff. And then presto, done. We just save, and then we resend back the response. Sweet. So if we go over here, we've got user list. And we've got one here. I'm just going to remove this. I'm going to put in user list. I'm going to put in 1. User list. I'm going to put in 2. I'm going to put in 3. Now, we do need to do the check in this particular one. And the one problem is, we'll be doing each user request, and the last one could fail. I'm probably going to say let's silently fail it and put in documentation and be like, oh, no, but then again, no, that's stupid. It means I'm going to have to write code. We've got to make sure the users groups are added in. I mean, I'm trying to think how I would do this. We could flag that we've got an error. The groups don't matter. They'll just get added in without a problem, and they should happen first because you might be adding a group with a bunch of users connected to it. Then I could store each group instance to be like, hey, this particular user wasn't added because they're not a part of any group here. But we're also doing a bunch of calls for each. It has to be done. The calls, no matter what, we have to actually check this out. Yeah, we're gonna have to check this out, no matter what. Because the last thing we want to do is have a user sort of accidentally get added to a project or something like that that they should not have access to. The front end purposely make sure we don't do this. And yeah. But anyway, let's double check that this is adding the users in first. Did I actually send it for starters? Probably not. User list 1 is not a valid choice. Let's actually go into groups and serializers. Yep, once again, this has got to be a primary key related field. Many equals true. The choices is actually query set. And then we just delete this data here. And we've got to add a blank line at the very, very end because, you know, that's how things are done. So, that's looking really good. I'm just going to hit send. Looks like it passed through the data that we wanted. If we hit refresh, we've got the data that passed through. All right, cool. So, what I'm going to say is we do still process the data. We just tell the user what has happened. Because they might be passing through 2 users. Let's say user 1 has access to this, everything should be fine, but user 2 doesn't. We should pass through and go, hey, listen, there was a 403. This particular user didn't have access to this. We haven't added them in. All other users have been added in. And I think that's the best solution. Yep, I think that is the best solution in this sort of case. That way, if someone's doing a massive sort of batch, it doesn't get sort of doesn't ruin their batch, and they can be like, all right, cool, it was just this one particular user. I just need to do a single group and then that user in. Yeah. All right, cool. So how will I do that? Well, let's go into here. Let's minimize this. We're fine with the serializers. We're done with the serializers. Let's close it. The object data views, we're done with that. The URLs, we're done with that. The API object permissions, we're done with it. It's this. We've got to be careful now. So now I'm going to comment this. So serialize the data for references. Down, flat pack the variables. Yep, that's flat packing is just doing that, so that way we don't have to constantly go serialize.data.destination and all that kind of stuff. So it just makes it easier. So loop through all the groups and add to the current object. So easy done. We're happy with that. Get the current permissions / groups for this object. So what I want to do is, depending on the object itself, we want to get all the group permissions. Okay. Object groups equals object assignment dot objects dot filter is deleted equals false, because we only want to look at stuff that is in there. We then want to do this lovely thing where we want to go f destination in the squiggly brackets, destination underscore ID is null, and that's going to be false. So this particular destination, actually we've got the location ID. All right. So this particular destination in the object assignment table will have a location ID. And this is how we're going to call it. This won't work with sprints because sprints don't use the object ID thingy. Once again, we'll actually be, when we get to the sprints, we'll probably have an API for the sprints. Which I think we currently do. Okay. So we're grabbing all of that, and then what we need to do is the group ID is null equals false. All right, so we're getting all the group IDs, and then what we want to do is values, and we just need the group ID. That's all we need. And then the single user, get the current group definition for this object. All right, cool. It does that. Great. Then in here, before we actually do anything, we get the user instance. And we make sure that that user has something connected. I'm going to put after this error array equals that. Okay. In here, what we're going to do is check to make sure the user has any of the groups assigned to the object. Okay, cool. So user group count equals, and then what we want to do is we want to do user group. We're going to have to add it in. We're on line 61. Oh, cool. We have. All right. User group dot objects dot filter, where is deleted equals false. Username underscore ID equals the current single user. And then what we want to do is group ID in, and then we've got the object groups up there. And then if the length of the user group count, hang on, we should actually have len up here. The reason why I've got len up there, it just makes it a lot easier down here. So if the user group count equals 0, we cannot add current user to the object. To the object, notify the user. So what we would want to do then is error array dot append. What we'll have is username. We should have user ID. That will be, we'll need the instance. ID, and then user instance username, and then continue. All right, so what the continue does is it'll move on to the next one, the next iteration. So we're passing through the username and user, so the user, so the ID and the username. That way we can tell the user, be like, hey, listen, these are the particular users you're going to have problems with. So down here, we need to send the status. So what we want to do is, how are we going to do this? Because this actually sends back JSON results. It actually sends back this legit JSON result. Oh. Okay. So I'm just having a good think at the moment. All right. I'm just going to do if length of error array is greater than 0, we have an error, send back a specific, So I'm just having a think. I don't know if I can squeeze the errors into this. If I can, I will. So what I want to do, let's go return data equals get group list user. We've got the destination, we've got the location ID, and then we've got the request. Easy done. And then what we want to do, if the length of, and we've just reached ads. All right, add time. Cool. Actually, sorry. I'll be right back. I won't be long. Yeah. I keep forgetting to turn my mic on. Anyway, welcome back everyone. Sorry about that. Need to just run to the bathroom. Alright, so going into here, if the length of the error array is greater than 0. Return data. All right, I just want to be like Python edit JSON. Edit JSON. We don't want to edit the. Support JSON data. Yep, JSON loads data. All right. Return data dot errors equals error array, and then return data error message equals cannot add users to current users in error array. Error array. All right, cool. Error message. Users in error array can not be added to object as their. I spent 4 hours yesterday vibe coding and got nothing done. It's over. The idea is to learn. All right. So you're like, all right, cool. It kind of points me in one direction. Does that direction work? Why? All right, sweet. Or why doesn't it? All right, cool. This is why it doesn't. And then you learn, and then you don't need to vibe code anymore because you're real coding. All right, welcome, welcome. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. All right, users in error array cannot be added to object as their groups are not contained, are not assigned to the object. Okay, cool. We just need to load in JSON. And then all we need to do now is return data equals JSON.dumps and then return data. And then we should also go status code equals status dot one created. And then we get rid of this. This is the more complicated one. And then the status code will equal status dot, we said 403, forbidden. Okay, so this should still work. If we go back to project information 2, we hit refresh. I'm just going to delete all these users because we're going to re-add them in via the API. All right, and we're just going to hit send. We got a 200, which is great. We go back into here. We're going to hit refresh. Oh, look at that. Yeah, someone made this 700 LOC script, and I noticed that it was overly complex AI slot, but I didn't care that much to actually rewrite it from scratch. So I just prompted 4 different models to cut out the craft, and all of them failed to do so. Ended up rewriting anyway down to 250 lines of code, but I just wasn't expecting them not being able to keep in context the whole stuff, since everyone's been praising this bullshit vibe coding. I think it's become a meme. I honestly think it has become a big meme, and everyone's just jumping on it at the moment. So yeah, I mean, remember, all of these things are tools. but you don't use just one tool. You use quite a lot of tools. Documentation is a tool that you'll be using. Your knowledge is a tool. Other people's knowledge is a tool, and so forth like that. So yeah, and thank you very much for the follow, Tintin. So welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. Alright, so it added it in perfectly fine. We're going to actually find a user that does not have any groups whatsoever. I do know there is one that is no group. So number 6. So if we go into here, we type in user list, and we hit number 6, we should hit an issue. 500 internal server issue. All right, not the thing that we actually wanted to do, but JSON object must be string, bytes, or byte array, not a dict. Cool, so it's a dictionary. That's fine. We will then delete this. We will then delete this, because if it's a dictionary, it should just work like that. That's fine. We're now just gonna wait for the connection to come back. Boom, 403 forbidden. And if we scroll down here, we've got error array, error message. Users in the error array cannot be added to object as their groups are not assigned to object. Sweet. Okay. So, awesome news. I'm happy. When we connect this up to the API, what we'll also do is we'll look out for this particular issue. So what could actually happen is someone could be trying to add a user to a group, and whilst that's actually happening, someone else could remove that group. So there is a plausible case where this error will easily appear, and it will be no one's fault. And I'm getting stuck doing the Rubik's Cube again. So, let's clean up our code. So we're quite happy with that. It's just a simple sort of thing. All of it's sort of documented in the code, and we're quite happy with it. So, yeah, we cannot add current user to the object, notify the user. Cool, yep, that just continues on. But it will still add in those other users. So if I go into the project information, hit refresh, those particular users are in there. Let's actually delete them out. So it doesn't stop everything, which is nice. So if I hit refresh, we've got the error message. I go into here and I hit refresh, we've got those users still in there. It's just, it hasn't added that one user in, and it's notifying the user, hey, you're missing the object. I mean, I could send back the thing to be like, yo, user, all right. But no, I feel like at this particular point, we should be documenting the errors. Being like, hey, if you get this specific error, it means this specific user cannot be added to this object. And that's because they don't have the groups. Yeah. All right, so. Okay. Where was I? Somewhere. Don't know. Oh yeah, we've got to delete now. So when we delete, we go, let's go yes, we click on this, you'll see that it's got username and then team member. It will only delete one at a time. So this so I'm just having a quick think. Deleting all the users from a particular place is perfectly fine. Deleting all the objects is not okay. The reason being is once you delete all the objects, no one has access apart from the admin to that object. So okay. Having a quick think. I'm gonna, instead of having using, oh yeah, hang on. We'll have to use the user IDs, won't we? Because if we add to project, these are the user IDs, but we're getting rid of it via the usernames here. So we'll have to actually change that in the future. That's not going to be a problem because we'll have that data. That's easy. That data is easy to actually do and easy to get. So what we want to do is just having a quick think. So we've done list. We're finished with create. With destroy, once again, we won't be using this one. We'll be using a group and user serializer because we've extended. Oh yeah, we are using the destination serializer somewhere else. That's fine because we've extended the destination one to actually include the fields that we actually really need. So going in here, we are serializers, group and user serializer. So we get all the data we need. We will, I'm going to say, let's use same sort of stuff set up here. So we'll have a group list, we'll have a user list. And once again, we'll get them to send the IDs. That's just going to be a lot simpler to do. And it's, yeah. So, now the one problem is, okay, we're doing some math over here. Let's say I have three groups connected to this project. All right, 3 groups, and I send back 3 delete groups request. All right. Now, instinctively, we might be like, all right, that means there's going to be 0 groups left. However, these 3 groups might not be a part of this group set up here whatsoever. And what we need to do is part of me says, don't bother. Let users just delete everything, which is terrible. Which shouldn't be done. So I'm having a good think about this. I mean, I kind of don't want them to delete the last group and stuff like that. That, and also for every single group deletion and stuff like that, we've got to run it other SQL. All right. Adding can be done in bulk, deletion cannot. I think that will be a smarter solution. We just need to document this process to be like, listen, deletion's a little bit more dangerous. We need to double check everything. So in this sort of case, what we're going to do, we're going to change this slightly. Instead of having a group list, we're going to have a group. Just a single group. Instead of having a user list, we're going to have a single user. And we're going to be like, all right, this is how we're going to handle this. In here, what we're going to do is we're going to have group equals serializer dot primary key related field, required equals false, many equals definitely false, query set equals the group dot objects dot filter is deleted. Now that's going to be like that. There we go. And we'll also do one. All right, so I'm gonna comment this out. This is getting a bit bigger, but that's perfectly fine. So query set data, easy done. And then once we do that, this will be part of the serialized data. So this will be user equals serializers dot primary key related field, required equals false, many equals false, and query set equals user results. Easy done. So we'll have one for the list, one for the singles. That's perfectly fine having it like that. That's not going to be a problem. That way we can use the one thing. That's perfect. What we want to do is we're going to delete the users first. If user is not none, let's double check a few things. All right, let's jump into here. Let's go into here. Let's go into this implementation. So we've got the remove user, update object assignment, hang on, user instance. So we do a bunch of little things in here. So we get the object assignment filter where the user instance is assigned user, all right? And we make sure that we get the object ID, which we can actually condense this down a little bit better than this because we know how to now. And then we just update. And then we send back the results. So if user is none, what did we call it? Object assignment? Update object assignment. equals object assignment dot objects dot filter is deleted is false. Assigned user equals, oh, this is where we're using the user instance. I think we can get away with the user ID. Because we'll send back the IDs. This will be user. And then what we want to do is have destination ID equal to the location ID. Because we'll get that through, passing through, because we'll need that information. And then what we want to do is update is deleted equals true. And that's it. I honestly don't know why the squiggly lines are there. There you go. It's not null. All right. So, if group is not null, none. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was meant to actually reply to someone. Okay, going with this. So if group is not null, none. Actually, we're going to put this one first. Reason being is if it fails, we want it to fail. We don't want first check that there are enough groups to delete. Okay, cool. Check object groups equals object assignment dot objects dot filter is deleted equals false. We then want to make sure, did you use a cursor or another AI editor? I think point of them is to keep the context. I've not used them though. I haven't used cursor yet. I've had some terrible hallucinations. I had to disable JetBrains' AI because that was actually making a mess of my code at points. It was actually changing. If I were, let's say, writing out this line, it'll autofill out this line, and then it would change something down here. And I'll be like, why did you change something down there? And then it'll change it to something that just doesn't make sense. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. So I had to turn it off. It was driving me nuts. I was being like, I did not code this. It was also autofilling stuff out. So I'll type something out like this dot and it'll change it into a different word. And I'm like, no, this is a proper sort of thing. So yeah. Really? I had a bit of a rant the other day with another streamer about it. I was like, this is actually terrible. I had to turn it off. Yeah, fun times. Yeah, don't change my code. Like, don't. Give me code examples. I will read the code examples and try and replicate them. But don't change my code. Just a bunch of annoying things. And I was using Rider too with the .NET sort of stuff, and I was going using Microsoft dot, and then it'll just completely put in something random which I was not using on that on that file, and I was like, no. I was going to go Microsoft.extensions.logging, I think it was, and it was just couldn't get past Microsoft, and I was like, no, I don't use that thing. All right, incoming ad break. All right, so we're checking for object assignment objects.filter where the group ID is null equals false. So we're actually checking for something. We're excluding anything where the group ID equals the group. Now this will come through as an ID. All right, so if there is no data, we can't delete this last group. So if the length of check, actually once again, I'm going to do this up here. I'm going to go length of all of this. Oops, sorry, I was meant to hit that and go like that and then do that. If the check object assignment groups equals 0, we're going to send back return response data equals error, cannot remove last group. All right, and then the status is going to be status.http. Oh, this is a good one to actually look at HTTP cats. Forbidden looks good. Not acceptable. Won't be. It will definitely be a part of the 400s. All right. So the idea is a user can't delete the last group assigned to an object at all. I'm just now need to pick an appropriate error code. So yeah. Forbidden again. All right. Forbidden. Cool. And then we've got error cannot remove the last group. Easy done. And we can test that out very, very quickly. If it passes that, we can actually delete this group. Now, I've just realized this one particular method is getting a bit long. We could extract some of these out and so forth like that. Anyway, we've just hit another ad time. I am going to grab some berries and some watermelon. I will be right back. I won't be long, and then we'll finish this all up. All right, I'm back. I have watermelon and blackberries. So yeah, we should, yep, ads are over. Welcome back everyone. Terribly sorry, just needed to actually, I was getting hungry for these blackberries and watermelon. So the watermelon I grew. I had to harvest it a lot quicker than I wanted because a couple of my watermelons got eaten by rats, which I'm not happy about. Which I was going to eat them. All works, but you can't complete the action because of reasons. Yeah. All right. Sweet. This watermelon also has a lot of seeds in it. Now, let's delete that one. Let's hit save for this. Sock's not doing her job particularly. Oh yeah, she's not here at the moment. So yeah, and Patty's not allowed out. Good news. The registration people have sent me an email. I needed to pay today, so I paid them. But yeah, within the week, Patty will be officially mine. So yeah, and then we've got to start introducing socks. All right, so what we want to do is now delete the group. Is we're going to have object assignment dot objects dot filter is deleted equals false, and then we got group ID equals group, and then we go update is deleted equals true. And that's it. And then it tells the user one, and everyone's all happy and going, yay. So yeah, I think that's fairly easy. The one problem with this watermelon, it has a lot of seeds. And thank you very much, Chica, for the follow. CPT Chica. Yeah, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So yeah, welcome. Now, let's quickly duplicate this. Get rid of that. Let's go down here and let's go delete. Let's put in the delete. Let's go auth. Oh, wrong one. Authorization. All right, cool. That's come through. These have definitely come through. All right, we'll delete all of those. Let's go over into our project information. Let's hit refresh. So we've got empty group and no group. So those will be 3 and 4. So I'm just going to go group 3. Just going to hit send. Method delete not allowed. Ah. Shoot right on the seed then. Okay. The reason why it's not allowed is we need a number in here. Like so. And that's something we might work on removing. All right, user didn't work. Required files, many. But we're not sending user. Oops, sorry. All right, I'm going to hit breakpoint here. I'm just going to hit send. We've hit that. We've got destination, we've got location, we've got group. We don't have user. We've got group list and we've got group user list. What have I done wrong? I'm not sending any data. All right, let's hit forward, yeah, it's failing on that one. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove that for the moment. I think user is a reserved name and we should use something else. So, not a problem. We'll come back to it. We're just going to hit play here. We are going to hit that. We're making sure it destroys the empty group. Awesome. All right. So I'm just trying to get all the seeds out of this thing. Let's try with the group 4. Cool. And group 2. Uh-oh. Yeah, all right. That didn't work. So, let's put a breakpoint on. Let's hit send. We've got it here. So the group is not none. So it's got an int 2. So this is int 5. Oh, no, why? It's pretty simple. I forgot to put in destination. Oops. Destination ID is location ID. That's it. That's what I forgot. Easy done. Now let's hit debug again. And let's hit send. Perfect. Error. Cannot remove last group. Sweet. We've just got to fix up the last user, the delete user. What I'm going to do. We've got user list. I could rename them to like that. Or single user. or remove user. I kind of like that. Then we go back up and then we just go remove group. Let's have the name follow all the way through. Like so, and then if we remove this, let's see if this works now. And then what we want to do in here, so we want to do something like that. The idea here being, yeah, we kind of want, we'll have to document this to be like, listen, this is how you actually do this. The reason why these are named like this and so forth like that is because on the list, in these particular cases, you're stating what you're removing. All right, let's hit save. Let's hit send. Let's hit preview. All right, user. Okay, let's go to group and users. Hold on a minute. Still not wanting to do this. Oh, all right. Yep. It's waiting a couple of seconds. It's still not liking it. All right, let's Is it because I've not put anything in there? Oh. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's see if that works. Gonna step over. None. And everything just works. Okay, cool. Let's undo this. Remove user. Now we can change this back to user and all of that kind of stuff. Kind of thinking yes. Part of me is saying yes. So if we go remove user and we go over here, we go number 1. I'm just going to hit play. And then we hit refresh. The admin should be gone. Didn't. All right, let's. This is where we breakpoint it. So remove user. There's none. Serialize data user, remove user is a 1 there. All right, I might have this wrong. I'm gonna put both of them in. I'm gonna hit send. Yeah, both of them are none. All right. So Python get attribute from dict. Dict.get key and default. All right. So I've got this around the wrong way. That's perfectly fine. Remove group. Equals serializer.data.get, and then we want remove group, otherwise none, and then we want remove user equals serializer.data.get, and then remove user, otherwise we want none. Easy done. We just get rid of these 2 one-liners. We just hit play. Everything's gonna, you know. We just go over here and we hit send. Cannot remove last group. All right, we're going to untick that one. We're going to hit send. We've hit this. So we've got an int of a 1. We're just going to hit play. I'm just going to go over here. Admin user should boom. All right, cool. And it doesn't matter if we remove the last one either and stuff like that. So everything's coming up together really well. I'm probably going to remove the remove. The reason being is, as an API, it kind of makes sense having user. Yeah. And once again, we'll polish this up. So when I release the projects, we'll polish everything up, and then we'll be like, all right, cool. This is what everything's going to be like moving forward. So what we want to do is we want to go to the serializers. I just want to remove this, and I want to remove this. We also want to go to the groups and users. We want to also do the same thing here. We also want to almost there. That's it. All right, cool. So that should still work, and we're going to be quite happy with that. That's the group and user API done, which is awesome news. So if we close our tabs, we open up this, we minimize this, we open up NearBeach, we open up our NearBeach, we go to our URLs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left, which are going to be structured very similarly. But a lot simpler. So for example, the object links will be easier to do because we've got set data. We're not combining 2 different areas into one. The notes, once again, it's going to be very, very simple to do. The sprints are going to be simple to do, and the tag is going to be simple to do. Most of that's just basic sort of crud. We don't have anything special going on. We're not modifying 2 different tables at once. So yeah, getting there. I am going to commit this code. So git add, git commit. All right, implementation of more API points for both available data and object data. And we're just going to git push that. All right, so yeah, let's find someone to raid. This is awesome. This is a good place to leave it. Yeah, hopefully next stream we actually do either 2 or all 4 of them. And once these APIs are all done, that's where we sit down and we'll have a discussion of what I've done and so forth like that. We'll do a release, test it all out, we'll see how good it is, etc, etc, etc. And then we will implement it for everywhere else. So the good news is the object data should actually just work, apart from when we're dealing with the children. So I've got to figure out what we're going to be doing with the object children, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but for the moment I'm happy. Let's find someone to raid. Okay. We raided Anna the other night. Alright, let's raid Ornica, number 2. Alright, sweet. I'm just going to, oh, I should also make sure that they're English. I don't think they're talking, but that's fine. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. Yeah, we got a lot done. So now we've just got to do the last of it, and we might make it for the end of March for the project, for the API for the projects. Which actually, no, we should. And then we're just got to clean up and all that kind of stuff. And then we've also got to start these other features too, which will be nice. Get the ball rolling for those. And yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and have fun. And thank you very much, everyone on YouTube. Sorry you can't join the raid, but thank you very much for being here, and I hope to see you next time. So yeah, thank you.